Hey everybody, this is AYG's Alpha Team, here with another video for the Division. This is going to be my 1.7 6-piece classified gear set build for the final measure. And we're going to go over a PvP build and a PvE build, but let's go ahead and get started. And we are running the 6-piece. Now, to be honest, there are different ways to run it. You can run a 5-piece or a 6-piece, where all the videos we're going to show are going to be for 6-piece, so just so you can see the full benefits of all the perks. And we're going to start with the PvP build. Now, of course, we're using all 6 pieces. We're rolled for mainly electronics, with one exception. Their gloves are going to be firearms. All of our mods are going to be firearms health mods to kind of supplement that power. And all of our performance mods are going to be first aid self-heal. So let's go through these really quick. We rolled mainly for health. We rolled health for all the options, with the exception of the holster. The holster we're running for critical hit chance because we're going to be using pulse. We'll go over that in a second as well. Mask is going to be skill power disorient. Boots are going to be, knee pads are going to be health, disrupt, shock, and burn. That's what we got rolled, so that's what we have to go with. Health on the backpack as well, with bleed resistance, electronics. Chest piece is skill haste, which we are going to use as well, and health, because this build is so skill power centric and electronics heavy. We're going to be using our skills to their best benefits. Now, because we're going to be using our skills and because we spec so far into skill power, we need to supplement our firearms. So what we're going to use is an SMG for the increased critical hit chance. And we're using the Navy MP5 with responsive, hurried, and deadly. To me, this is the best roll you can get for an SMG because you want to get those crit. You're going to have more crit chance, so you want to get that crit damage. You're going to be doing close range a lot, so you want responsive. And hurried is a great roll, so just instantly reload your weapon right after you finish shooting. So it's a good way to keep you in the fight. All of our mods are spec'd for crit damage with some crit chance options when we can get them in there. Now, because we're rolling with 22.5% critical hit chance and we're rolling with the pulse, that's going to put us right around 60% crit chance. And that would be the max for PvE. And right here you can see the 4% crit chance on the holster. That's what gets us to 59.7 crit chance after we hit pulse. And it gets us to about 142% crit damage. So we'll be doing the max crit chance with 142% crit damage. We do really well with this build, and this is what you're going to need for PvE, mainly because the final measure build isn't built for attack. Both of its set bonuses are going to be for exotic damage resilience and protection from elite. So both defensive moves, even the set 4 bonus and the set 6 bonus, are all defensive moves with the exception of the 6, but the 5 as well. So this build isn't meant to attack. It's meant to defend. It's meant to be more of a support role. And that's what you get from the 6-piece bonus. Let's go over that real quick. When a grenade is defused, the player and all the group members will, within 30 meters, gain a buff based on the grenade type that was defused. So EMP shot gives you skill power, fragmentation incendiary gives you weapon damage, flashbang tear gas gives you increased armor. So again, like, you're really more of a support player. So in order to be aggressive and be more damaging with your weapons, you have to spec into something like crit chance or crit damage, just because the build isn't designed to be that attack heavy. You're definitely more of a support role, but we made it attack heavy because you need to be. If you're going to be playing PvP, you need to be. So that's the weapons and gears. Let's go over the talents real quick. We're using Pulse and we're using Recon Pack. You could use Scrambler if you want, but you get the most crit chance and crit damage from the Recon Pack. And a lot of people argue about which one you to use. I think the one that reaches the furthest and gives you the most crit chance, crit damage is the best one. To each their own, though. And we're also using the first aid booster shot for more increased weapon damage, of course. Gives us a pretty good heal because our electronics is so high, too. So self-heal and ally heal is the same, or relatively the same. So we'll be able to help out our teammates as well. Our talents are going to be Triage, heal an ally with skill to reduce skill cooldowns, because we are going to be using our heals and pulses all the time. Also, reach low health to reduce active skill cooldown, so in case you do take damage, you'll get your skills back a little bit faster. Combat medic, of course, because we want to help out our team as much as possible. And the precision, because headshotting a hostile to pulse them for 10 seconds is a good thing to have because we're so spec'd into our pulse. We're going to actually have a really good pulse, so the second you headshot them, they will be pulsed. And you'll be able to get that bonus crit damage and crit chance. Now let's move on to the PVE build. PVE build is completely different. Because we're playing a support role, we're going to be using a really electronics heavy build. So let's go over that real quick. And this build is going to be built around the sticky bomb. So let's go in and see. So we're rolled for all electronics. Every piece we have is going to be electronics. All of our mods are going to be electronic skill haste because we want to get our skills back as soon as possible. Our gloves are going to be health on kill, enemy armor damage, and skill haste, of course. And we rolled for skill haste on our holster. Chest piece is going to be skill haste with health, skill power, and disorient on our mask. And like I said, all the pieces are electronics. Skill power damage to elites is going to be good because, again, this is a PvE build. So we want to get as much enemy armor damage and damage to elites as we can because that's what we're going to be fighting the most if you're doing the hardest levels, of course. Backpack, again, is health, electronics, and all of our performance mods are going to be sticky bomb damage because we're going to be using that sticky bomb. With such a high electronics and with all of our bonuses to damage to elites and enemy armor damage, we're going to be doing some devastating sticky bomb attacks. And because it's PvE, we can do those from cover. We don't have to really be as mobile, which is why this is spec'd so hard into skill power, because we can do much more damage with our skills than with our firepower, and it's much more practical when you're fighting in a group. You can just have one healer and you have one skill build and you have someone else shooting if they want. You could take out teams super quick. So that's the 6-piece PvE. The weapons are, since we're not going to be concentrating on them too much, we really just want them for the perks. So whenever you're holding an assault rifle and you're using a skill like sticky bomb or seeker mines, the enemy armor damage that is attributed to your assault rifle actually affects your skills as well. So you will get an increased 22% enemy armor damage if you're holding this rifle and doing a skill. Your seekers will do more enemy armor damage and your stickies will do more enemy armor damage, as well as your turrets. So that's why we have our talent destructive too, to get armor deconstruction value up to another 15%. So we'll be getting 37% enemy armor damage out of our skills. Even though we're not using this weapon, we're going to be getting the benefits of the enemy armor damage from it. So that's why we have this one with destructive, and that's why we have this tactical SA-58 with ferocious. Damage to elite and named enemies is increased by 10%. So whenever we come across a specific elite or named enemies, we can switch to the tactical ACR and get a little bit more damage out of that too. And the weapon mods are kind of irrelevant just because we won't be using them as effectively. So we didn't really have to worry about speccing into these too much. But again, this is a PvE build, and it's built around killing named enemies and elite enemies and high-end enemies and anybody with a shield. And our skills are going to be sticky bomb. And since we spec'd into the sticky bomb damage, our explosive damage is going to be over 1 million. And with the enemy armor damage and damage to elites, this goes well into like 1.7, 1.8 million per shot. And you'll see in the video, in the gameplay, you'll see some shots where we're just taking out named enemies in one shot. It's pretty awesome. And explosive damage from the seeker mines is also good. You could also use something like a support station if you want to have a little bit more independence from the rest of your team. You can kind of run solo with this. If you go with sticky bomb and a support station, that's good. But if you are rolling with the team, it's better just to be all tech and do all the tech damage. And the bleed from the sticky bombs is legitimate. It's almost as much. Every bleed tick is almost as much as the total damage, total explosive damage. So if your explosive damage is being about 60,000 hit points, you're going to be doing about 50,000 bleed. Super effective. The bleed on the sticky is a little bit different. It's way different, actually. It's a lot lower, but usually they don't live because you can kill pretty much anyone in one shot, including named enemies. And again, we'll show you that in the gameplay. Talents on this one are going to be catered towards the explosions and the bleed. So demolition expert, chain reaction, shrapnel, and then of course we're going to be using strike back because we want to get our skills back just a little bit faster if we can. And this is going to be the best talent for that. And that's going to be it for all those guys. Let's go into some gameplay. We'll do some PvP and PvE. Got a few tips for you for the PvP side of things. Tip number 1, throw more grenades. With Final Measure, of course, you start absorbing grenades every 8 seconds, or as often as they're thrown at you outside of that. So you're going to have more, so don't hesitate, just keep checking grenades. You see someone in cover, throw a grenade at them. You see them move out of the way, throw a grenade at them. If they're not shooting at you, you should just be throwing grenades, because you will have a lot of them. This guy gets 3 of them. Take him down pretty easily. Not too bad. Again, like I started this one a little late, but there's a guy around the corner, I know he's low. He drops the station, throw a grenade, pick the station out, he goes down, piece of cake. You're gonna have more grenades, so just throw more grenades. Next tip's gonna be, don't jump away. Now, I know inherently, like, you see a grenade thrown at you, you want to jump away. Try and resist that urge. You can see right here, this grenade drops, I jump away because I think it's gonna hit me. And that's just me and my primitive brain thinking, oh, I gotta move because there's a grenade coming my way. But you're Final Measure, so you don't have to worry about that. Same with grenades that you throw. Right here I throw a grenade and then I think I'm gonna absorb it, so I jump out of the way. But it puts me kind of out of position and exposed, and I could have totally easily avoided that just by staying relatively near my own toss. Now this particular one the smoke would have gotten me, so it was a better idea to jump away, but still, it did put me out of position. You just have to start keeping that in mind. Like, you don't have to avoid grenades anymore. You're going to absorb them and you're going to be fine. Last tip's going to be the exotic damage resilience is real. So you have 40% when you're running the 6-piece or 5-piece. You have 40% exotic damage resilience. I take this Seeker right to the face. Didn't even drop my overshield. Now the only thing that's hurting me now is the burn afterwards, and the guy was shooting me right in the face. So of course I'm going to start taking damage. But you saw it, like, right to the dome, didn't even drop my shield. Here again, this guy chucks one out, get it from behind me. It burns me a little, but it didn't really even drop me at all. So with the nerf to Seekers and the fact that you're rolling exotic damage resilience, you're gonna be pretty unstoppable. At least according to exotic damage rather. So I'm gonna let the rest of these run out. I've only got a couple of actual Dark Zone shots because I really honestly don't play a lot of Dark Zone, but I just want to show you that it does work in Dark Zone as well. But I'm gonna let these play out, and at the end I've got some of me just one-shotting named guys in the open world. It's pretty fun. I'll let these play out and I'll see you guys right at the end.
Bravo's gone neutral. Charlie's neutral.
You can now activate the point multiplier.
Bravo's confirmed neutral. Rules for kills has been activated by rogue agents.
Out of there.
that's going to do it for the final measure, guys. Really solid build, super supportive in PvE. You can still be aggressive in PvP, but a little bit of strategy is you want to make sure that you engage enemies early to get them to try and throw a grenade at you, pretty much, because that's the only benefit of this in PvE is you'll be able to absorb those grenades. Otherwise, you can still stay pretty competitive in the gunfire with this particular setup. So go ahead and enjoy, and go ahead and leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more from REgaming.com. Also, shoot us a comment if you have any questions or you want to give us any feedback. It's always appreciated. Until then, go ahead. Game on.
Game on! Yeah, game on!